Good evening. I would like to call the May 1st, 2023 meeting of the Town of Cicero Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Ms. Robeson, please call the roll.
Mr. Rabia.
Here.
Luckett. Here. Mr. Daniel.
Here.
Mr. Mays.
Here.
Mr. Stanton.
Here. Please take note of the fire exits located in the front and the rear of this room. At this time, please silence all cell phones and pagers. Please note that tonight's meeting is being simulcast on YouTube and is also being recorded. At this time, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everyone read the minutes of the April 3rd, 2023 meeting? And any corrections? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
When you're ready, please call the roll.
Mr. Rabia.
Yes to the motion.
Ms. Luckett. Yes to the motion. Mr. Daniel.
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Mays.
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes to the motion. Cicero Town Board acknowledges the importance of full public participation at all meetings, and therefore we urge all who wish to address those in attendance to please come to the microphone located in the front of the room. At this time, I will make a motion that all actions taken tonight are type 2 actions and have a negative impact that is no impact on the environment unless otherwise indicated. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Ms. Luckett. Mr. Robeson, when you're ready, please call the roll.
Mr. Rabia.
Yes to the motion.
Ms. Luckett.
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Daniel.
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Mays.
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes to the motion. We have proof that all items on tonight's agenda have been advertised as directed by law. I will briefly review the process for tonight's meeting for the benefit of those present that have never been before the Zoning Board of Appeals. Each applicant will have the opportunity to describe their project. The board will then ask questions about the project. I will then open a public hearing where people will be able to speak for or against the proposed variance. The applicant will then be given the opportunity to respond to the public input and provide additional information. Board members will be allowed to ask follow-on questions. Please note the board will openly discuss amongst ourselves the 5 factors that contribute to the final decision. This board does not have a pre-agenda meeting, so there is no prior discussion of cases outside of this meeting. And finally, a motion will be made either approving or denying the requested variance, seconded and voted upon. So our first case tonight is an application for a property on 7851 Brewerton Road. The applicant is Cassis Superior Signs. If you wouldn't mind coming up. And just for the board's note, the Onondaga County Planning Board has reviewed the project and offers no comments. If you could describe your project for us, please.
My name is Christina Caceres, and I represent Cassis Superior Signs and Well Now /chapter. We installed the pylon sign that is this is the variance for it. The reason why we're here is because the sign is not at the 20-foot setback that is required. There was some miscommunication between the staking of the sign and then the digging, and we didn't call the Steve for the footing inspection, so that it didn't get caught until after it was poured. That it was 6 inches, 19'6", I think, 19.4 feet is what it is. So I guess 6 inches to get to 20 feet setback. And we have already checked with the engineering. All the engineering that was put into the ground is good with an engineer signed off on it. So the only thing we're here for is for that, the difference.
So it sounds like it's 0.6 feet over the setback that's
Little more than
required.
7 inches.
And it's honestly it sounds like it's a survey error as opposed to something that was intentionally done, at least my opinion.
Explain the comment that you didn't have a footer inspection. What happened there? You guys do signs for a living, right?
Right. So I didn't pay attention to honestly, in the 10 years that I've been doing this, I have always done signs that go on the building, and I've never had to do anything with the footer inspection. The last one we did do was Chick-fil-A, and the GC took care of it. So I missed it. It was my fault. And therefore I tried to rectify with Steve and talk to him and say it was a mistake. Had I paid attention to the permit. So.
Thank you.
But I guess looking at the pictures of the foundation, it's a not insubstantial foundation. So even if there was a foundation inspection done, my feeling is you probably would have just been here earlier as opposed to now when the sign's actually up.
Yeah, we would have, if we had some question at the time of the footing inspection, then we would have asked for verification prior to that footer pour. Problem was, when we did see it, it looked to me that it was going to encroach. Visually, it looked like it was going to encroach more than it has, but nevertheless, it encroached.
Okay.
Are you okay with this letter from Murdoch Engineering in terms of the construction of? the
Yeah, I've
footer?
looked at that. I'm gonna look at it further and speak to Christina about it, but this engineer who's vouching for it is not. It is the designer record for the footing, so I'm gonna have probably a little further conversation.
Okay.
So this person comes into play because you guys hired him or something to,
He's on the original paperwork
okay,
for the original engineering of the building, and he is the one who actually stamped the original drawings for the footer. So that's why I went
so
back and
he
looked.
might be the engineer of
My
record.
mistake, because I thought it was a
Okay.
different one.
No,
Okay.
Yeah,
So because they provide photographs that look to me did not follow the detail fully, then we asked for this.
Got it.
Yep.
Chuck, it sounds like a series of honest mistakes. I mean, stuff happens, I guess, right?
Yes, yeah. Any other questions at this point, folks? Okay.
No.
All right. So at this time, I will open the public hearing. Would anyone speak for this? Would anyone speak against this? At this time, I will close the public hearing. Any further questions from the board? Okay. So with that, would someone like to review the 5 factors?
Take a note.
Very good.
All right, number 1, whether an undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. In regards to the variance, I would definitely say no. It's a commercial area, a lot of signs, pylon signs in the area. Plus the difference in 20 feet versus 19.4 feet is negligible in terms of the visual impact. So most people would not notice any difference there.
Mr. Rabia,
I agree.
Ms. Luckett. I agree. Mr. Daniel,
Agreed.
Mr. Stanton.
I agree, and I would also add, I think it's literally for the portion of the sign that's above ground, correct? Not the foundation itself, so.
Correct.
It's even less of an impact, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, given the fact that all the bulk regulations are being met, I mean, it's, like you said, it's a portion of what we're talking about here.
Okay, number 2, whether the benefit sought by the applicant be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance. Short of digging up the footing and moving the sign over 7 inches, I would say no.
Mr. Rabia,
I agree.
Ms. Luckett. I agree. Mr. Daniel,
Agreed.
Mr. Stanton.
I agree.
Whether the requested variance is substantial, I said no. If my math is correct, it's only 3%. I do not consider that substantial.
Mr. Rabia,
Agree.
Ms. Luckett? Agreed. Mr. Daniel?
Agreed.
Mr. Stanton?
I agree.
Would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood? I said no, it will not affect the environmental conditions.
Mr. Rabia?
I agree.
Ms. Luckett? Agreed. Mr. Daniel?
Agreed.
Mr. Stanton?
I agree.
And whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, just in the fact of not having the footing inspection done, I would say yes, but not a reason to deny.
Mr. Rabia?
I agree with that as well.
Ms. Luckett? Agreed. Mr. Daniel?
Agreed.
Mr. Stanton?
I agree.
That being said, I will make a motion to approve a sign variance for Cassis Superior Signs, 7851, 7853 Brewerton Road, I'm sorry. A sign variance to allow a recently constructed pole sign to remain that is 19.4 feet from the street line, where signs closer than 20 feet to the street line are not permitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Very good. Ms. Robison, when you're ready, please call the roll.
Mr. Rabia?
Yes to the motion.
Ms. Luckett? Yes to the motion. Mr. Daniel?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Mays?
Yes, the motion.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes to the motion. Motion carried. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so with that, our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, June 5th, 2023. Is there any other business before the board?
No.
Okay, there being no other business before this board, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you guys for coming for just. Yeah, it was nice meeting you and, for the 10 years. Before I leave. Yeah, I'm actually moving, so. Yeah. After this. So yeah, this is my last variance meeting of the King's Spirit Sign era. Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
See everyone. Okay, thank you. Hey, gotta get you out. You'll be around next month. I was mistake here. And I was mistake. Yeah, I think. They did have it marked, and. I don't know if it was a digging mistake or they would have been certain. I don't remember her personally, because she's the one that says what. This one, I think, that's what might have a problem. Maybe next one, maybe next one will have to have a lesson moment.